Hi, welcome to the first behind the scenes for the MFC application. Basically, there are 5 files the system is composed of. Let's take a look at the main file that gets called. It's the index.php. Well, basically, in this file, there are 2 methods. The first one is the check index. This method basically returns the list of the parameters through the URL starting with index.php being at subset 0. The second one is the load MFC. This is basically the actual loading of the MFC application, where it basically loads the controller based on the URL and calls any functions if there are any. Second file is the configs. This file gets included twice, once in the database, the other one is in the main controller, where it checks for the automatic loading for the plugins and the helpers. This is like the only file you actually need to change if you're using database. You basically have to enter the database information here. The third file is the load file. This has a couple of methods. First one is the constructor that basically just checks for the base path. The load controller, this is the one that actually loads the controller. Load viewer, this loads the HTML side, also passes the variable list to it. We have the load model. This is the one that loads the database. The load helper, the load plugin. These are basically the 2 extra ones that you actually use to load in plugins and helpers, and the other ones, they're basically more like private functions. The fourth file is the database model. This basically opens the database and assigns the C link to the database connection link. That's the only thing it does. This model class is implemented in all the model controllers. Now the main controller, this gets extended by every single controller you start. It has to extend the main controller. So basically it has 2 parameters. The parameters it has 2 variables. The first one is the parameter variable. The other one is the model, which is basically the database handler. Then we have the segment method. This basically, actually, let's go to the constructor first. The constructor just constructs the parameters, the base path, and it loads the helpers and logins that are located here, if any. We have the segment. This gets a certain segment of the URL. The 0 index will actually have the index.php, and from there it goes on. We have the 2 methods, get post and get. This basically returns the variables post and get after it cleans them. The clean function is basically the escape one. It's similar to the MySQL real escape string function, but also URL encodes the equal sign. This in case avoids hacking for the database. This is basically the behind the scene for the MFC application. All the other folders are basically the ones the user changed: the controller, the helper, the model, the plugins, the templates, and the views. So those we'll go over on other tutorials on how you actually run this application, but it's a good idea to know what exactly goes behind the scene, especially if you're a web developer who will be using this. So thank you for listening.